morning, students. In the last class, we have discussed about the autotrophic nutrition and about photosynthesis, how plants perform photosynthesis. And in this class, let us learn in detail about heterotrophic nutrition. What is heterotrophic nutrition and how the digestion takes place in amoeba and human beings? We will learn in this class. Now, about some organisms break down the food material outside the body, then absorb it. Examples are fungi like bread mold, yeast, and mushrooms. Now, first of all, let us know the difference between the autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. The organisms prepare their own food from the inorganic raw materials like carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, chlorophyll. Then they are called as autotrophs. The process involved are mainly photosynthesis and chemosynthesis. Chlorophyll is present in majority of these organisms. Organisms used in this mode are called as producers. Now about heterotrophic nutrition. So here the organisms obtain the nutrition from the food prepared by autotrophs or other organic resources. The major processes involved are saprophytic, parasitic, holozoic, and predation. So predation is nothing but the capturing of small animals and eating. Now chlorophyll is absent in heterotrophic nutrition. So the organisms using this mode are called as consumers. Now holozoic nutrition. The nutrition involves the intake of parts of plants or animals or an organism as a whole by the process of ingestion, which is then digested and absorbed. Some examples are amoeba, frog, insects, human beings, etc. Some organisms break down the food outside the body, then absorbed in it. They are fungi, bread mold, etc. Now, let us discuss how the digestion takes place in the unicellular organisms like amoeba. We all know that amoeba is a single-celled organism and the food may be taken in by the entire surface, but as the complexity of organism increases, the different parts become specialized to perform different functions. For amoeba takes in food using temporary finger-like extensions of the surface. They are called as pseudopodia, which fuse over the food particle, forming a food vacuole. Inside the food vacuole, the complex substances are broken down into the simpler ones, which then diffuse into cytoplasm. The remaining undigested food material is moved to the surface of the cell and then thrown out. So you can see here, this is the food particle. You can see here the pseudopodia capturing the food and entering the food into food vacuole, and there it is digested by the enzymes and the food is assimilated into the body, and finally the undigested food will be removed out. Now, as the complexity increases from unicellular to multicellular, diffusion process cannot be done in the multicellular organism. Why? The main reason why in human beings diffusion cannot be done. So for that, all the cells, they are not in direct contact with the environment. Simple diffusion is insufficient and will not meet the requirements of all the cells. Now let us discuss about nutrition in human beings. General digestion, the conversion of complex food into simple soluble forms. Now, parts of digestive system. What are the parts of the digestive system? Teeth, alimentary canal, and digestive glands. Teeth is used in biting and chewing the food. Alimentary canal consists of several organs like esophagus, stomach, small and large intestines, rectum, and anus. Digestive gland secretes digestive juices. Generally, the digestion takes place in 5 steps. These are the main 5 major steps. One is ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and digestion. Ingestion is taking of food into the mouth. Digestion Breakdown of food into small soluble pieces. Absorption, taking in of useful food into the bloodstream. Assimilation, use of food for growth, repair, and energy. Addition, removal of unused food from the body. Now, this is the digestive system diagram. You can see here the digestion starts from the mouth and ends with the anus. Now, in the mouth, a fluid called saliva, it is secreted by the salivary glands. The saliva consists of an enzyme called salivary amylase that breaks down the starch, which is a complex molecule, to give sugar. The food is mixed thoroughly with the saliva and moved round the mouth while chewing by the muscular tongue. The lining of the canal has muscles that contract rhythmically in order to push the food forward. The peristaltic movement occurs in the gut. From the mouth, the food is taken into the stomach. See here, from the mouth, the food enters into the stomach. The stomach is a large organ which expands when food enters in it. The muscular walls of the stomach helps in mixing the food thoroughly with the more digestive enzymes. The stomach contains gastric glands which release the hydrochloric acid, a protein digestive enzyme called pepsin, and mucus. The hydrochloric acid creates an acidic medium and which facilitates the action of enzyme action. So enzymes are nothing but these are the biocatalysts. The exit of food from the stomach is regulated by a sphincter muscle which releases it in small amounts into the small intestine. From the stomach, the food enters into the small intestine. From the stomach, food enters into the small intestine. This is the longest part of the alimentary canal, which is fitted into the compact space because of the extensive coiling. The length of the small intestine differs in various animals depending upon their food habits. In herbivores, they contain the longer small intestine as they have to digest the cellulose. Digestion of cellulose is a little bit takes time. Now, in the carnivores, they have the shorter small intestine. Small intestine is the site of complete digestion of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Total digestion takes place, the entire digestion, in the small intestine only. It receives the secretion of the liver and pancreas. The food coming from the stomach is acidic and it has to be made alkaline. So for this, for the pancreatic enzymes to act. Pancreas, it secretes the pancreatic enzymes. The bile from the liver secretes the bile juice, which acts on the fat globules and converts them into smaller globules. The pancreas secretes pancreatic juice, which contain enzymes like trypsin for digesting proteins and lipase for breaking down fats. The walls of the small intestine contain glands which secretes intestinal juice. The enzymes present in finally convert the proteins into amino acids, carbohydrates into glucose, fats into fatty acids. Here the starting products are carbohydrates, proteins and fats. And these were totally digested in the small intestine and converted into carbohydrates, converted into glucose, fats into fatty acids and glycerol, proteins into amino acids. The digested food is taken up by the walls of intestine. The inner walls of the small intestine has numerous finger-like projections called villi, which increase the surface area of the absorption. The villi are rich in blood capillaries, rich with blood vessels, which take the absorbed food to each and every cell of the body. Villi, these will absorb the food, and the absorbed food enters into the bloodstream. Now, see here, you can see in this slide assimilation. See the glucose, it will provide the energy and it is stored in liver and muscles. Fatty acids and glycerol So these are nothing but the energy reserves. It is stored in liver and in under the skin. Amino acids, it helps in repairing in damaging the damaged body parts, forms enzymes, hormones, and these are responsible for the growth. Now, so here you can see the diagram of the villi helps in the absorption of food into the bloodstream. The undigested food is now sent into the large intestine. Now, this process is called as digestion. Now, here the removal of undigested food or the waste moves to the large intestine where water is absorbed from them, making a semi-solid. So, this is called as feces. It is stored in the large intestine called rectum. It is sent out of the body through anus. The exit of this waste is regulated by the anal sphincter. Now, let us recall once again what are the digestive enzymes present in our body and how they act on the food and how the end products are produced. Now, here in the mouth, salivary glands will be present. You can see here the digestive organs in one column, enzymes and juices in other column, the food acted upon and substances produced. Now, in the mouth, salivary glands are there. So, these salivary glands, they act on the salivary amylase and the starch is converted into maltose. In the stomach, gastric juice is there. It secretes an enzyme called as pepsin. This pepsin, it acts on proteins and converts into peptides. Peptides are nothing but the parts of proteins. They are called as fragments of proteins. Now, the pancreas secretes the pancreatic juice. It contains an enzyme, amylase, trypsin, lipase. This amylase, it acts on starch and converts into maltose, which is also a sugar. And trypsin, it acts on proteins, converts into peptides, small fragments of protein. Lipase acts on fats and it converts into fatty acids and glycerol. Now, in the small intestine, the enzymes are lipase, maltase, sucrase, and peptidase. Lipase acts on fats and converts into fatty acids and glycerol. Maltase acts on maltose, converts into glucose. Sucrase, it acts on sucrose and converts into glucose and fructose. Peptidase acts on peptides, nothing but the fragments of proteins, finally converted into amino acids. See here you can see the final products are amino acids, glucose, fatty acids and glycerol.